So first and foremost, I just wanted to say welcome to the Next Leap Forward. We're really excited for this webinar because this is the first time we're ever having a public sharing of where we've come in the last year and then also what our strategy is moving forward. And we felt like this was a great time to open it up to our full community and to the public because we're about to hit our 5-year anniversary with Women in Data. And so through this, pivotal landmark, we wanted to recap where we've come as an organization and really set the groundwork for where we're going next in the next 5 years. So just a little bit of housekeeping. I will be taking questions, so feel free to add questions to the chat. And then at the end, I'll review all the questions, or you can also unmute yourself at the end and I'll take those questions then. So without further ado, we'll get started. And I just want to recap, really why we exist as an organization. So when you think of a nonprofit, which Women in Data is, we're here to solve a problem. And the problem that we're facing is inequality within tech and mainly within data careers. And so our mission is simple. It is to increase diversity in data careers. And the reason why we are so passionate about our mission is because we know that data is the future. If anything, data is now, and this is where the jobs will be. And when we don't have equal representation in these fields by the people who are working in the jobs and participating in it, it only increases the inequalities that exist. And so we keep our mission really simple, but we have a really big problem ahead of us, and we have a lot of work that needs to be done. Thankfully, though, we have been able to see a lot of success in the past 5 years. And so if you're new to the organization, or if you've been around since day one, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to recap on our history. So Women in Data was started in Sacramento, California in the fall of 2015. And for those of you who don't know, essentially at the time I was going to grad school and I noticed that I was the only one of 2 women in my grad school program for data science. I only had 1 female teacher, and I really just looked around and said, where are all the women? This is going to be an amazing career that's going to change the world and really shape our world and history. Why is there not more women in this field? And at that time, I honestly didn't know what to do about it. I just knew that it was a problem. And so my first instinct was the need to connect with other people. And what I did was start a meetup page. And honestly, I didn't think anyone would show up at the first meeting. And actually, almost no one did show up at the first meeting. All I did was sit at a restaurant and see if people wanted to come and network. And I brought a book with me because I was very concerned that no one was going to show up. And it was about 5 minutes after the time people were supposed to come and no one was there. I totally felt like a failure. I thought I must be crazy. Like, this is why there are no women in this field. Like, it's going to be a lonely career. I probably chosen the wrong thing. But what I did was I called my boyfriend and he said, just stay 15 more minutes. And I was like, I can stay 15 more minutes. 15 minutes is doable. And when I stayed that 15 more minutes, 3 additional people ended up showing up to that first meeting. And I always think back to this time because it doesn't seem like a lot, but I wonder how many times we give up, 15 more minutes before something great is about to happen. And then I think also, how few people we really need to start something impactful. It only takes one person to stand up and say something, and then another person to join in. And I share this story because I know there's a lot of chapter leads out there, new chapter leads starting the chapter in their city, and have gone through similar things. And so it's just nice to know that, day one, you may not have 12,000 people, but within 5 years, if you stay consistent and grow, you will get those people to come. So that was 2015, and then December 31st, in 2015, we got incorporated as a nonprofit organization. So 2016 was really all about testing out our programs. I would show you some of our programs we tested that failed, but I don't want to embarrass anybody who, of the things that we created. We failed at a lot of programs, I'll be honest. We tried to create different learning videos. We did partnerships that weren't our strength. But what we did find was our community was really, really strong that year. And so we learned so much in 2016 by trying different things, but then getting back to the heart of what we were good at. And the heart of what we were good at was creating a community. And so in 2017, we had a member of the Sacramento chapter moved to San Francisco, Kriti Bhatia, and she said, I want to take women in data and the community that's here and take it to San Francisco. And so we used this again as a prototype to test our first additional chapter in San Francisco in 2017. From here, that really led us to see, women in data as a community that's needed not just in California, but also in other cities. And so we wanted to make sure we were really scaling sustainably. And so in 2018, we added 4 new chapters, one in Vancouver, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and New York City. And this really allowed us to see how we would scale our model of chapters and our community. And then in 2019, we really wanted to focus more not just on our chapters, but how do we create the programs that help our members get jobs and are supporting them in their career. And I will say all of this wouldn't have been possible without the feedback we got from the community. So everything we've done within Women in Data has been very organic. We do a member survey every year. We also listen to our chapter leads to hear what is it that their members need in different communities. And from that, 2 programs were born, one our residency program, and then also our job board as we connect with different sponsors and partners. In addition, we added 5 new chapters. And so by the end of 2019, we had about 11 chapters. And then as we come to 2020, so as we come to this year, we really saw exponential growth. I often compare Women in Data to having been in the adolescent stage, and I feel like we're getting at the later end of the adolescent stage where we know our heart of what we're doing and are able to really grow and scale our impact. And so this year we added 28 new chapters. We also created a live career coaching program. We have a mentorship program that will be ready to launch in January. And then we also ran 2 residency programs. So I really love this history and timeline. I can't believe that it's been 5 years, but I'm really just so proud of this organization and where we've come from and how we've started and where we are today. And so where we are today, we are in 11 countries. We have a little over 13,000 members and are in 39 cities. So this is really amazing. And first and foremost, I just want to say thank you. So thank you to our members. Thank you to the people who just show up to the events, who, share their information and knowledge with each other. And then thank you to our chapter leads. So many of you as chapter leads were the first one to bring this to your city. And I just really admire that leadership and that tenacity. Having started a chapter myself, I know it is not easy in those first days. You worry if anyone's going to show up. You worry how you're going to do it all. But each of you have done it. And I really just want to say thank you for your commitment. And then I want to thank some of our regional leads. So Rajvi and Meena and Sudeshna, as we've expanded internationally, it's been really amazing to see leaders pop up in that region and then unite people regionally. And I know that, COVID has, made it a hard year for a lot of people in 2020, but I've been so impressed by Women in Data's response as an organization. And I really think that it has allowed us to unite with others and connect more globally. And I really want to thank some of our regional leads for doing that. And then I want to thank our leadership team. So Alyssa and Critty and Kate and Ashley and Vivian, you guys have been behind the scenes working in Women in Data and have just really done so much to always make sure that we're providing the best to our communities and to our members. And then last but not least, I want to thank our first employee, Denny. The chapter growth we had this year would not be possible. She wears probably 20 different hats in making sure that everything runs and operates smoothly. So I really appreciate your commitment there. So as I am giving thanks out, I thought it would be a great time to share our Ada Lovelace Award. So this is an award we started last year. Each year we've really seen just people in the community who go above and beyond to support Women in Data. And so last year's award went to Kate Arnold for her work with the New York City chapter and building such a vibrant community there, and also with her work with IBM. And so this award is essentially, we have a Tiffany's bracelet that gets engraved with Women in Data and the year, so that we can continue this tradition. And so this year I'm really excited to announce that the award will go to Rajvi Mehta. So I'm sure a lot of you have got to interact with Rajvi. If you haven't, I hope you do, because it's a pleasure to work with her. But just some of the things that she did this year that I want to mention are, number one, when we weren't able to meet in person anymore, which was so key to the Women in Data community, Rajvi really wanted to make sure that we didn't lose that connection. And so right away, she created a webinar series way before other organizations were doing it, just to make sure that people knew we were still there. And she really rallied people, not just from within the US, but across the globe, to participate in this webinar series. And then Rajvi has created a lot of wonderful sponsorships and engagements with connecting with different cities to run our residency program. She's also connected with a lot of local universities to see how we may partner there. And then last but not least, she chaired the Data and Art fundraiser. So this was our first ever fundraiser event. I was planning on canceling it because we had plans to do it live and in person. But then when she heard about it, Rajvi has such a yes and a can do attitude. She's like, no, we still have to make it happen. We're going to do it virtual, and we can make sure that this happens and this is a success. So thank you, Rajvi. We're really excited to have you get your award, and just so grateful and thankful for you being a part of this community. All right, so as we've recapped a little bit of where we've been, I want to talk about where we're going next. So first and foremost, I think it comes down to what we measure. And it sounds a little funny being Women in Data if we don't talk about data, because we as data scientists and practitioners and leaders in the field know that what you measure is what you get results in. And so today we've really been measuring our community, and none of this will change, right? We're measuring things like our chapter growth and our members. And this really centers around one of our pillars, which is awareness, right? So how do we spread the word on there is a community there for you, and how do we make sure that people are there and engaged? So we'll continue to make sure that our chapters are growing. We'll continue to make sure that our members are growing and the awareness of Women in Data is growing. But as we're at this point, I think we do it a disservice if we only measure our chapters and members. And so where we'll be adding in an additional focus is really in regards to our outcomes. And the outcomes help us better tie into our mission of increasing diversity in data careers. And so when we think about how the problem of how we increase diversity, it's really a two-factor problem. Are we getting people hired into these careers, and are we helping people stay and advance in that industry? And so we're going to take a two-pronged approach to this in measuring how many people we're getting hired and how many people we're helping to advance in their career as well. So as we all know, we know how to grow our chapters. We know how to create a vibrant community, which we will continue to do. But I want to talk a little bit more today about the two outcomes that we'll be measuring more this year, which are getting people hired and help them advance in their career. And so how we do this is really through our programs and our pillars. So our first pillar is awareness, and this is where we've been doing the most of the work because it's foundational. If you aren't even aware that this is an industry you can go into, if you don't have a community to connect with, we can't move on to the additional steps. And so awareness really starts again at our local chapter meetings. And so how these will change a little bit next year is really focused on building that community within the local chapter. So through our membership survey this year, the number one thing that our members wanted was networking. So we'll be bringing in a new tool for local chapters to be able to network virtually when we still live in this world where we all can't meet in person. But for local chapters, the focus will be on really making sure that we're supporting and building that community. We'll also continue our global webinar series. One of the positive things that has come because of COVID for women in data is just how we can share information across our chapters and across WID as an organization. And so we'll continue to make sure that we're bringing in the best leaders in our industry to share talks, thought leadership, and motivation with our global webinars. And then in addition to that, we'll also continue with learning webinars and blogs and different partnerships to make sure the awareness of women in data is spreading. Our second pillar is the education pillar. So something new that we are looking to bring in is an education referral, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we go into our career tracks platform and the new platform for women in data that we'll be building. But essentially, we have a lot of people who come into our organization who are looking for guidance on what education they need to get started in this path. And we want to make sure that Women in Data is a trusted advisor to help guide them on that journey. And then we will continue with our virtual study groups and then also our residency program. So I'll talk a little bit about at the end about our residency program. This has become one of our flagship programs where we really see results in terms of the outcomes from this. And so I want to make sure that we are continuing to grow this program as well. And then where we're moving more towards is this advancement, right? So now if you have a job in a data career, how do we make sure that we're supporting you for the life of your career and also helping you advance? And so there's a few new programs we'll be adding in to support that. One that we already have is the life and career coaching. So for those times that you feel blocked in your career and don't know what to do next, we have an amazing life coach, Mira Morton, that members have access to. And that will still be available for our members, and we'll be looking to grow that as well. And then a new program we're adding in is legal support and referral. So one of the things we have found is that while you are in a data career, you may experience discrimination, you may experience things, unfortunately, that don't sit right. And a lot of times this causes women to actually leave that career. And so we want to make sure that women have the right support and resources so that they know their rights, and that they can have the best experience possible in the workplace. And then we'll also be doing some leadership training. So for this year, this will just be for our chapter leads, the leadership training. This may expand, next year as we test and learn how it goes. But we want to make sure that we are lifting up those people who are a part of Women in Data, and giving them the best education and training possible. And then finally, we have our job board, which may expand more into recruitment and referral. And then again, we'll be launching our mentorship program in January of 2021. So these are our programs. And, I feel very strongly about all the resources that we have for women in this industry and how it will best support us measuring those two outcomes of are people getting hired and are they staying in and advancing in their career. But as you all know, it's really important that we be able to track this. And so today we as Women in Data have really disparate systems as an organization to be able to track and measure this. And so in Q1 of 2021, we will be building our own system to be able to better integrate some of these programs. And so we've called this essentially our career tracks platform. And so this will be on our website and a resource to people. And I'll just walk you through a little bit of how some of this will work. So essentially we have it as different individual checkpoints for people based on where they are at. So if you are a new person coming in to the industry, right, our first question is, do you currently have a data job? And if you don't, you say no, then we will have a skills assessment and personality test for you to take so you can see what career options are available for you. From there, it will show you the different career options that are available, what additional skills you may need for that. And then from there, someone can, select a career option, and we will put them on a learning pathway to be able to gain the skills necessary with it. And so as you pick a career option, this is when our referral to education programs come in. So we'll be looking to partner with different education programs to make sure that you're giving them the best resources necessary to gain those skills. And then once the skills have been gained, where a lot of people struggle in terms of, they've either got the master's program or they've taken a lot of courses through Coursera or another means, but they're still having trouble getting jobs. And so this is where our residency program has become really pivotal. So the residency program, if you're not familiar with it, is an 8-week real life type of internship, but mainly just project work on a data science problem. And so you work with a data science lead who takes about 5 to 10 people through that program. In addition, people get feedback on their resume, and then, experience that they can also put on their resume. And then from here, we want to work with either our partner recruiter referral program, our job board, to help them get placed in a job, while at the same time, supporting them with the life coaching and the mentorship as they start to go through that hiring process. And so all of that will lead to either hopefully a new job or a better job. Now, we understand that not everybody is starting at square one. And so maybe you come into the platform and you have a job, but you don't have your experience in the industry that you want yet. And so that's when you would skip over the education side of things and get referred to the residency program. Then if you already have a job and you're working in the industry, but you really want a better job, or you just need support in your career, that is then when we would refer you to our life coaching and our mentorship so that we can make sure that you're sustaining in that career as well. So we're really excited about this platform because one, it will allow us to integrate all of our programs together, but it will most importantly allow us to measure success or to see where the pitfalls in terms of the pipeline so that we know what additional support our members need to be able to hit our mission and our end target of helping people either get a job in data or advance in their career. So one of the additional things with this is we'll also be making sure this includes a way to manage all of our members. And so if you're already a part of the chapter and a Women in Data member, you'll notice that we have been shifting more of our focus off of Meetup and onto our own internal membership platform. And so within Q1, we will also be moving away from Meetup. We have loved Meetup so much to get us to this point, but we really want to make sure that one, we have a platform that can do all the things we need to do and provide those services to our members, but two, that we know who's a committed member of Women in Data and we can put our time and focus into those people. So if you're a chapter lead and you're like, what, we're moving off of Meetup, what does this mean? Do not worry, there will be a lot of communication coming out. And we've, tested this with a few people just to see what their thoughts are. And they've had really, positive feedback in terms of the new functionality we'll be rolling out and the way you'll be able to better interact with your members and better be able to communicate and foster that growth. So we're very excited about this new platform. And because of that, I did just want to share a few results from our most recent residency program and the impact that it's creating. So, as I mentioned, our residency program has become one of our pivotal programs. And these are two recent feedback I got in the last month from people who had just taken the program in July. And so one of them was able to get a better job as a senior data scientist. And then another one was able to get her first data science job. And so, these are the things we really want to make sure we're able to measure, we're able to talk about, and we're able to see that growth. And so I'm really excited about where we're headed because I know the community we've built today is so strong and is only going to continue to grow. But also, we want to make sure that we're measuring the right thing and that we are achieving our mission by increasing diversity in data careers. So I just wanted to leave you with this last thought is that we rise by lifting others. And when I was thinking about where we've come within Women in Data, when I think back to 2015 and starting with just 3 people who came to that very first meeting, I very much did not know what I was doing, but we only need one other person to lift up and to join together to make a really big impact. And as you head into 2021, I really would like each of our focus to pick one person within Women in Data that we want to be focused on this next year to lift up. Because as we all pick just one person, it's really exponential. Sometimes I get a little concerned about how are we really going to change the stats of the numbers, and it's such a enormous task in front of us. But then I realize it's just one person at a time, and if we all just lift one other person up, we can actually change the world by what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you so much for making this community so special and what it is today. I'm super excited for the road ahead and for our next leap forward with Women in Data. I don't think it's going to be easy. No one ever said it would, but I know that it's going to be worth it. And I know that in the process, we're all going to become better and create a more inclusive world around us. So thank you so much for joining us, and I will open it up to see if there are any questions. Okay, so it looks like there's one question. Is the residency program internal to WIT, or do you partner with other orgs to provide the services? Great question. So essentially we partner with organizations to provide the projects. So where we have found success is really in terms of partnering with cities and partnering with open source data portals. The reason for this is with companies, we have tried to partner with them, and we will continue to if that is available. However, the security needed to quickly get in there and make it happen takes a little bit longer. But yes, we definitely partner with organizations, mainly in terms of providing a project so that we can make sure people are getting that real life experience. All right, so the other one is that currently it looks like the residency program is paid for by the participants. Is there another option to remove this and make it more accessible? Maybe paid partner orgs, companies? Yes, definitely. So currently it is by the residents. There are times we have received grants to be able to do this. So the 2 residency programs we ran this year were free to participants because they were paid for through the grant. So there are other options, if those can get created. Great. Any other questions? Perfect. Well, I want to say thank you to everyone for such an amazing year. Again, congratulations to Rajvi. We're so excited and thankful to have you a part of this organization, and we really look forward to the road ahead. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.